Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you, and we are very excited to start a new journey that's related to the DevOps one. This is actually a completely a new tool available into the market, and we have so many things that we really need to learn and understand. This is a kind of a skill set which is actually relatable to all the people who is available into the market. It's not having something mandatorily that can be done only with the experienced people, or it can be done only with the people who are like completely into the core technical background, the people who belongs to the known IT, the people who are belongs to the fresher front, the people who have a leaks experience. These all peoples can actually able to do this course, and I have prepared this curriculum in such a way that every individual having the best capability to learn and understand the thing. Okay, so this course having multiple aspects which I have designed it. We are going to talk in very detail how things actually work, where all things are needed, and on that basis you are going to understand it. Okay, so let me showcase and take you onto the screen of mine. Okay, and let me just making a heading today. So I'm just writing one heading, that is DevOps prerequisites. Okay, so this is also one of the thing which is actually available into the market. And before like jumping and before starting onto any course, okay, you should be knowing the things what do don'ts have not be available there. On that basis only we are going to talk about it. Okay, let's I'm categorizing in some of the points. First point over here, let me erase it here and let me showcase that. The first point is that few points are there. There are like some myths are there into the market which we really want to discuss. Like first part is programming language is required. Okay, this is first of the point. I'm just talking about some myths which is actually available into the market right now, and people are like rigid to not learn, and there are some few components which you need to understand it. Okay, another part is that the Linux experience is must. That is one of the point. I'm just talking about some categorization. Then another fact is that prior IT experience is required. That is one of the point. And further, we have one more thing, that non-technical background people cannot cannot do DevOps. Okay, so if you see over there that I have noted down few of the points. Okay, first is that programming language is not required, then Linux experience is must, then prior IT experience is required, non-technical background. People cannot do. Okay, so basically, if I'll go and start from the first point, okay, like the from the first of my point, which is actually available into this curriculum, that programming language is required. So for a start, it is not very mandatory to you to start with the programming language. It is not completely true, right? Because apart from the programming language, there are few more concepts you need to understand. As of now, if you see on the board, there are few things which is completely not relatable to the programming part. As of now, if you have like a role, generally the role is a DevOps role, is basically known as into the market is SRE. Okay, site reliability engineer, that is the role actually it is available into the market. Okay, so that role is basically mentioned that it does not require a full-fledged coding language, because for that role already there is a developer is available into the market. Developer is actually who is doing the things there. So why any of the company will require two things? Okay, let me betterly I will like remove this all things and let me show you in a better way, so you will be understanding some much better examples. For an example, let there are two scenarios we will take. One is one scenario with respect to the developer, one scenario with respect to the DevOps engineer, like how both of them is actually doing the things in a different way. So for an example, I'm designing one guy. This is one guy who is actually a developer who do the work related to the coding part, and another one is the guy who is actually a DevOps guy. Okay, these are two roles. Okay, we will come to the complete correlative things how actually it is going to be happen, but before, just to make you understand like the people why programming they make it as a hinge for anyone to start, that clarity I want to let clear from first point over here. Now, for example, I have I have few things coming into my mind. Like for example, I got one project that I have to design one application. Okay, this application actually need to track of all the newly employees who join, something like this. Okay, some kind of scenario we have like designed it, like he want to design it that. So what exactly developer will do? Developer will do that he need to make a research. Okay, research, like basically he need to do a research like, okay, how my application will travel from A to B, for an example, as a scenario, A to B, how he is going to do it. And then further he will be checking it like, okay, what all things I need to edit as part of features into my application. Okay, that is the one thing he need to do it. After that, he need to design some APIs. So that kind of thing Mr. Developer is going to do in his scenario. Fine. So that is the part he will be doing it. Then furtherly, then he will be writing all the code related things and everything in his thing. Now, then furtherly, then you might be having a question, then okay, after designing the this whole part, whatever he have designed in his complete component, then what will be the role of DevOps guy? Then what he will be doing? So DevOps guy will having the role start after the developer will done his part. Okay, now let me tell you and showcase you one thing. Like for example, he done his coding part. Okay, like Mr. Developer done his coding part is completed. This coding part is completely from the dev part. Now, DevOps will start picking the code. DevOps will start picking up the code. So, from where they will pick up the code? This code is actually pushed to the GitHub. And this knowledge is actually required, Git or GitHub. And this knowledge actually required by the DevOps individual. Okay, so you need to understand that there is few limitation do and don'ts between the developer role as well as between the DevOps role. Okay, there are number of set of tools actually learned by or understand by the DevOps guy. He no need to have the full-fledged understanding, but he need to have an understanding related to how actually code flow works. Like as a start, I won't say that it is not completely not required, but yeah, as in start it is like fine to get started with the things, and that is actually fine it. But once you went into this complete thing, then you definitely need this complete component and understanding to understand how actually things are working with respect to the DevOps and developer guy. Now you might be having a question and a point. Then the second point, what we have talked about, that second point, which is actually we just now seen onto the screen. Let's see, like this one. The second point was that Linux experience is must. Linux experience is must. Okay, so this is also one of the thing or myth related to the learning component, which is actually available into the market. And you won't believe that in many institutes, if you go and you mention that, okay, you want really want, see, I will talk about one real time scenario. For example, you went to an institute to learn the DevOps related knowledge. Okay, and there if you have asked that, okay, I really want to learn. Linux and really want to learn about DevOps. So what exactly? There will be some person will be sitting on with it that, okay, we have the absolute educational trainers available which can make you learn this training. Then they will ask, okay, were you that okay with respect to DevOps you need to learn cloud, you need to run Git, you need to run Chef, you need to run Ansible, you need to run Chef, you need to run Docker, you need to run Kubernetes, and then they will ask, do you know Linux? And your answer will be no, I don't know Linux. And on definitely, once you mention that okay, you don't know Linux, then at the same moment, what will happen? The cost related to your cost will increase. So these kind of the real-time scenarios are actually happening all around the educational market, which is available into the real world scenario. But trust me, it is not that much difficult to learn. You don't need that much specific, that detail coaching for any related to Linux. You can learn in for the beginning part whatever it is available into the market, and on that basis you can do it. So, for an example, if I'll say that okay, I need to learn Linux, so Linux having best example available into the market. Okay, when I say best example, like for example, you simple thing, what exactly is Linux? Okay, Linux is basically an operating system, right? Linux is basically an operating system, similarly like our window based operating system. We also have a window based operating system, right? We know these things. Now, for example, tell me one thing, as a childhood, whenever you are like learning into the classes, or whenever you have joined the school, or when you start understanding the computer part, you might have known that, okay, that two in the, for example, in class of 11th and 12th, when you have requested your parents that, okay, I really want a laptop, I really want to learn, I really want to use laptop for my classes in like computer classes in this lab, right? So at that time, do you really think that you need to know that, okay, how the folders are getting created, or how you need to log into the your window box, right? You are just simply what you are doing it. You are simply entering the password, and then on that basis you are doing it, right? So these all things are like similarly way you like have to understand that there are small things which you can do it by on the small understanding which you can be available into the components. Okay, so I have designed the complete Linux course, okay, on the basis of like how each and individual things are working on it, and that will be go very smallly. It is not something like you need to go and understand, and you won't be able to understand it in the beginning. Everything is difficult. We also know that in the beginning things will be different, but when we go and research more at that time, it will be slowly you will be finding that things will be become more easy at your front, and you won't be seeing the things into the difficult part. Similarly, when many people are having coming to me and telling that okay sir, I don't have any prior IT experience. It's completely not required. Okay, it's not completely that you don't know the things that you can't able to do it. It's absolutely fine. So I'll just come back to the main part which we are talking about. So in the beginning of this discussion, I have just mentioned one thing, that okay, this is the heading which we are there, that okay, DevOps prerequisite. Okay, this is the first thing I have mentioned it. Okay, so coming to the second point which I have mentioned it, that Linux experience is must. So just to clarify this part, it is not mandatory that you should be knowing it. You need to learn it. That is the first thing. Now for example, tell me one thing, you have a box. Okay, now you have a box, say one, let me divide it into two parts. One is your, this is your window box, okay, and another one is your Linux box. This is window and this is Linux. I have just noted down as win and lin. Fine, that is the one thing. Clear this part. Now tell me one thing, for example, if I want to create a folder into the Windows, what exactly I'm doing it? I'm just clicking a right click. Okay, once I'm doing the right click, it asks me to create a folder. Fine, then what exactly in Windows we say the drives are created over there. So we are saying it as a drives. Similarly thing in Linux, we create directories. Okay, directories to keep our data. Fine. Now directories having another point. For example, in directories only, I want to say I want to create a directory, and I would be saying that okay, it would be say make directory, and I would say Ranjit. This much. After writing this command, what it is going to do, it will create a directory for me. Okay, similarly way, for example, I want to logged into my window box. So what exactly I have to do? I will be giving my password, username, right? First part I will be giving username, that is correct. Second part, what I will do, I will give a password. So what exactly I'm doing it? I'm actually entering my credentials to the complete of my boxes. Okay, that is the one thing I'm doing it. Now in Linux also, if I want to log in, what I will be doing, there as an admin access or admin user will be root. Always remember, the super user into the Linux will be the root. Then what exactly the password? Password I'm going to define when I will be creating my virtual server. So what is virtual server? What is hypervisor? How these concepts are working? No need to worry about these all things. We're having very detailed topic which we are going to talk about and understand during that curriculum, and that curriculum will be having a more effective way to understand it. Fine. So that part you will be going to see it, right? Now, now secondary part or third part. Now, definitely you might have a question, right? Like, okay, sir, in the school time or in the college time, we have deployed our operating system in such a way where we have to use CD drives, right? CD drives we have used it, or like pen drive we have used it. Do you really think that the organizations or the companies or IT firm is actually using this way? Obviously no. The answer is no. The companies are not using in this way. Companies are basically using ISO image concept using the hypervisor. In that way, actually, organizations are using the approaches to deploy any kind of operating system. So you need to understand one thing, that the things which you have seen it in a real world, it is nearby similarly, but few things will be little bit here and there which you are going to see it, and on that basis only you are going to understand the concept wise. Okay, always remember, Windows and Linux having few components which you need to understand it. Like Windows having also having few kind of versions which we are going to learn one by one when we are going to see the AWS based thing. And similarly, when we are learning on the Linux also having some flavors. So just I just want to, because we are just talking about this concept as of now, so I just want to talk about some of the Linux flavor also. So in Linux we have heard about Red Hat, that we are going to talk about in our when the class will start in detail. Then we will be having Ubuntu. Okay, then we will be having CentOS. This is now end of support and it is not very actively supporting, so there is new version is available, Rocky Linux, that you need to see it. Then you will be having Solaris. Okay, then you have SUSE, Fedora, Debian, many of like this. Okay, so see, there are multiple kind of operating systems available with respect to the Linux also, which you need to understand it, right? So see, things are like that. In, like if it is available also, if a different names also available, but the main part is that it is not like that. Okay, that things will be completely different. Things will be little bit same only, which is actually not relatable completely. You find the different thing, but you need to understand like, okay, from where to start it and from where to end it. Okay, another part is that many people in this batch, which is going to start it and which is going to work it, that are belonging from non-technical background. They find that, okay, whether we can able to learn these kind of technologies or terminologies that is available into the market. It is absolutely fine if you are from the non-technical background also. That is not an issue. The reason why, because this curriculum have been made in such a way that you will be having a better understanding with respect to tools and technologies. Okay, now many people having a myth like, okay, like if I'm from a non-technical background, I don't able to understand the cloud. Why you not able to understand it? See, simple way, the way you have few things, like you are accessing laptop in your system, it means you are understanding the system, right? Slowly everything will be learned and everything will be gone, right? So remove that rigid or thought process from your mind, that if I'm bringing from non-technical mind, I cannot do it. You can easily do it. Okay, it is very simple to learn and very simple to understand these all components. Now there is one more example I want to say it. Like for example, many now you have understand, okay, these are multiple type of prerequisites which is actually available into the market. Now you're definitely having a question in your mind, that why DevOps specialist, or why DevOps is actually needed. Why DevOps is actually needed? What do your thought process, like why actually DevOps is needed? So there are multiple reasons behind that DevOps actually becoming so much popular. Okay, it's not only about one reason because DevOps gotten popular. You have to understand that each thing, if it is getting popular, there is some reasons, there are some theory, there is some problem statements actually was there which need a solution on which it is actually getting worked. Fine. Now, for example, definitely you have a question in your mind, like what is the problem statement it was or why it is actually needed. So let me again put it into the point. For example, the best part or the best need for DevOps getting specialization, because we're actually looking for fast delivery. Fast delivery. Second point, high quality. High quality. Third point, Capex and Opex. Okay. And fourth point, less outages. less outages. If you notice down, I have written few of the points. Less outages, might be you are not seeing it over on the screen. Let me showing it over here. Let outages. So there are like 4 points I have captured right now for your understanding what all of these things are actually available into this one. Right. So definitely you need to understand how fast delivery or how these things are actually meant to, and we have a really good example, actually really good example where we need to talk about a real time example where we need to understand how these all things are actually working on it related to the faster delivery. High quality also, we will talk about the real time scenario, like in the organization also, the really world, how these things are actually doing it and what all components are required. Now just taking an example, let's say we all know that we got hit by the COVID in 2020. Okay, 2020, like it was a very hit. So at that time there was one app become very popular. Okay, everyone might be remember that app name, that is the Arogya Setu app, right? Most of people know about this app, Arogya Setu app. So what happened at that time? As of now, I'm talking about the scenario which is behind or before the DevOps. It is not related to the early DevOps. Okay. After DevOps, I'm not talking about. It is like the before DevOps. Now, for example, Mr. Government, Mr. Indian government, they want this kind of app. Definitely, they will reach to any IT organization. Say that they reach to the organization like XYZ company. They reach it. As of now, they reach to XYZ company, and Mr. Indian government say that okay, we want some app which actually track the records related to the infected people who all will be infected by COVID. So they reach to the IT manager, like okay, this is the IT based company. They reach to, like this kind of application we require. So Mr. Manager from this organization, he said that okay, sir, we will create you for this time. Okay. So he said that, then again he communicated that we will create for you. Fine. That part he said. Then Mr. Indian government asked that okay, how much time you require for this one? How much time you required for this one? Then Mr. Manager communicated that okay, I need to check with my team that how much time is actually required to develop. Team can be on a multiple basis divided. As of now, just for a layman understanding, for example, he reached to his developer, senior developer, junior, QA, SRE, DevOps guy. They reached to them. They're like, sir, we are going to take 6 months. 6 months they mentioned, right? Huge time. Mr. Manager again went to Indian government, say that okay, we need 6 months at least to complete this task. Now you think of, for example, COVID is in current state right now. If any application will be coming after 6 months, what is the use for this app? It is completely waste for me or waste for the Indian government. They'll say like, okay, why I should pay you this amount if it is going to be 6 months? Like, no, 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 we can't commit that much time. We need early. Then again, Mr. Government reached to IT team and IT organization and like, we need a less buffer time. Then he said that okay, sir, we might will take 3 months time frame. So in that time frame, finally, IT government, IT organization, and Mr. Government, they both agree the agreement that okay, fine. And finally, Mr. Government and they have made a budget that okay, 5 crore we are going to release for this particular project, like total budget for this project. Fine. So Mr. IT manager telling that okay, right, fine. For that we definitely need some advance payment. So Mr. Government released some 1 crore amount. Why I am talking about these points or these numbers? Because once the project will come, on that basis only some advance payment will come into the company, and on that basis only the hirings or the openings available into the market. And this is the another level of business which is actually run and work in. Okay. So once that part is done, how, like after that what will going to happen? Once the amount is available, then Mr. Manager will hire the few new interns, like new freshers, new developers, some senior members, and then on that basis they are going to develop the complete project. And that is the cycle of the DevOps where it is fast delivery actually come into the picture, right? whole process, how the delivery is going to happen, how the development is going to happen, how the build up happen, how SDLC is actually working. That all things we are going to talk about into the next lecture. That is the second topic and the parallel topic with respect to this area. But as of now, to understand like how these things are actually happening, that is the high level of your understanding. Okay, so this is about the fast delivery which we talked about. Fine. Now coming to the second point. Second point is you might have noticed that high quality. What exactly is high quality is about? High quality basically, now again take one real time example. Now again take one real time example. Many of us like using one application, right? Which application? For UPI payment. When someone say like, okay, I want to use an application which is wallet based application, so your first thought process or your mindset will say or talk about Paytm, right? The first point only you will say Paytm. So when Paytm coming in, it was the first time in 2016 when demonetization happened. This is the best app at that time, right? It is actually get famous at that time. But you know one thing, like once thing is launched into the market, definitely there will also some loopholes and some failures actually will be there. So there was a limitation, a very good limitation, which is was with the Paytm. So Paytm always used to say that okay, whatever cashback you are getting, you need to use as a wallet. You don't need to use it as a bank. But we, as an Indian mindset, we always want that money should be transferred in our bank, and this was the biggest loophole with respect to the Paytm. Then finally, who realized this thing that okay, I need a betterment of this application which can at least directly send to the bank. So there will be a launch happen with the respect to the pay, this one, your phone pay. Phone pay said that okay, we don't want your money into the wallet. You do one thing, you can directly send your money uh, to your bank account. Okay, that kind of offering we are going to do for you. So they suggested the phone pay to transfer into the bank account. Okay, fine, that part is done. Then furtherly, then another point it happened that okay, GPay, that point it is going to be happen. So these kind of two things happen. They both have improvised both of the area, and on that basis they both have developed the product. Fine. So it is not mandatory that if you are coming first into the market you are getting famous. That is another part. But if you are improving yourself, then it means you are learning and increasing. So that is the secondary part happened with respect to the DevOps, and that point is high quality happened. Okay, that is the high quality related example which you have seen into the market. Now there is this part also you have done it fine. It is also one of the important feature. It means similarly I just want to talk about one more example. That example is related to your again high quality. For example, you might have heard with respect to DevOps, like whenever you want to start it, the first cloud you might have got in your mindset, that is the AWS. But do you think that only AWS is available into the market, or apart from AWS there is also any other market is any other cloud is available there? So apart for AWS, there is another one is Azure, GCP. Now Alibaba is coming into the picture, Oracle, Fujitsu, this kind of HP cloud, many kind of private Dell cloud, many kind of private clouds are also coming into the picture. So many clouds are now available into the market, but they are also increasing and improving into your market. If you have noticed one thing right nowadays, GCP is getting popular day by a day. How it is happening? This is actually happening because of their complete improvement in their market. Okay, complete improvement in their market is actually happening it. Fine. Now, in the same thing, I have mentioned one more point. If you have noticed one more thing, I have mentioned one more point. There is that is related to less. That is related to Capex plus Opex. It means capital expenditure and operational expenditure. What exactly it means? Very, very interesting concept. Okay, you need to understand how these things are actually working, because this will actually increase your understanding. Now think of, I need to launch one application. I need to launch one application, an IT company. I need to launch an application which is an IT company based. I need to launch it. Okay. Or I would say I need to launch a IT company only. Okay. So basically to launch an IT company, I definitely need a server, definitely need a storage, definitely need a router, switches, firewall, and systems, routers, server, system, storage, application, firewall. These kind of things I needed to launch one company. I would say I'm launching one company, say Ranjit IT firm hiring for Ranjit IT firm which provide these services, something like that. I want to do it. Now, to do these all things, I'm launching a service. This is like a business I'm going to set up, and to launch this service, definitely I need a investment of say 50 crore investment. Fine, this much of investment I required for my setting up the business. Now for 50 crore investment, I'm not sure that this whether this particular business is going to be successful for me or not. Yes or no? We are not pretty much sure whether this business is getting successful for me or not. I have put it. Now, this cost, what exactly this cost for me? This cost is capital expenditure cost, which is for setting up the business without knowing it whether this business is going to be successful or not. Now, this is the lab I have set up. Now, for an example, think of now to manage this lab. Definitely, I need engineers. I need some people. Day and night should be shifted. So definitely, this needs also some amount to monitor, right? And they also need to 15 to 20K, which I'm going to pay it for the or something like more than that, right? So what exactly this is? This is the operational cost I'm going to put it. So in this way, what exactly I'm doing it with, I'm talking about before Devops, what I'm doing it, that I have to set up the complete infrastructure and without knowing whether my business is run or not, on that basis we are going to putting the amount. But who actually reduce these all things? Who actually have solved this problem? These solved problems have been done by the AWS cloud. AWS cloud. AWS is telling that okay, you need storage, I will give you a storage. You need services, I will give you a services. You need EC2, I will give you EC2. You need virtual servers, I will give virtual servers. So on that basis, who is actually doing it? These all parts are done by the AWS cloud, and they are telling that you don't need to set up any hardware cluster. You just need to pay me the amount relatable to the services which is available, and that is actually called as pay as you go model, subscription model. On that basis it is going to pay the amount, right? So that is one thing which you have reduced into this capex and opex related mechanism. Okay, that is one part which is done. Then on the same line, we have another last point to discuss about the less outages. Okay, less outages. What exactly means outages? Many people you might not be understanding that what exactly outages means. For example, think of now you have we have created a very good application. Okay, very good application like that. Which application is running onto the server? A very good application on the server, you have deployed it, very good UI, very good functionality, everything it is looking. But whenever you are launching that application or launching that product, what is actually happening? This app is down. So what is the use of putting that much of amount into that application which is not at all running for you, right? Which is not at all running for you. So in that particular scenario, DevOps is keep checking your product and keep thinking that whether this application is absolutely running for me or not. So you need to understand DevOps is actually designed to make the life easier for the people who are actually working into the IT industry. So this is an initial basic understanding with respect to DevOps, the do's and don'ts, the thought process, where actually you don't need it, and the clarity where you have that confusion like, okay, how DevOps is actually working. There are bunch of tools. I don't want to disclose those all things right away. I really want to keep it simple. I really want to keep it like a class, like a regular class where the things actually do. And on that basis, I'm going to talk about the particular component. Okay, so the next lecture, whatever the topic we are going to talk about, we are talking about some methodologies, DevOps methodologies, how the build process work, how the development, build, QA, test process will be done. That kind of things we are going to talk about into the next chapter. It will be like around a complete playlist we are going to design it, which you need to showcase. Everything will be in a detailed way, so you need to understand it, and on that basis only you are going to learn this thing. Okay, so that kind of things you are going to do it. Okay, so please do follow this channel, do like, comment, share, and subscribe it. And keep watching this content for every day. We will be having the DevOps, the curriculum available. Then we will be having some AWS related stuff. Sooner stuffs will be available, and then Linux will be available there. So on that basis, we are going to cover the DevOps part. Okay. Hope this will help you for your learning. We will catch you soon into the next video. Thank you everyone for the session.